morning, everyone. It's your regular podcast, Knowledge Empowers You. As always, with you, it's me, Kat. Annyeonghaseyo. Then we have Baruch.
Hello, hello.
We have Collage.
Dobre rano. Good morning, everyone.
What happened with your energy? It just went 3 downs compared to last week.
It's still fine. But this is a special episode. We are recording Monday morning, so Monday mornings are when it comes to the energy.
And today we have 2 new guests. And let me first give a word to Matusz.
Hi guys, good morning.
And then we have Michal.
Hi everyone, good morning.
So, Collage, what's today's topic? Why do we have these 2 young gentlemen with us?
These 2 gentlemen have a specialty which is not yet known to the audience. And as far as I know, both of them are working students right now in a corporate world. So, Matusz, Michal, would you tell us a bit about yourself? Like, what are you studying, sort of? What's your current status and stuff like that?
So, if you don't mind, Michal, I would start. So, currently, I'm finishing my master's studies at the Communist University. I am a student of international management, and yes, since the 3rd year of my studies, I've been also working in a corporation.
How about you, Michal?
Yeah, so I'm a student of the Communist University as well. I am in the 3rd year in my bachelor's. I have just finished my bachelor's thesis. So yeah, this is my holiday now. And I've been working in the corporate world for half a year now, I think.
Nice. Good luck with your thesis. I wonder, what made you to choose to work while studying?
Well, if I may start, I just wanted to find a job which would give me money and a job which would provide me with a career. I did not want to, do something that is mindless. I wanted to do something useful for my career and for my future life.
Yeah, as for me, I didn't have that feeling that those studies are giving me the whole package. I was missing something from a practical point of view. So I just published my CV on a career portal, and that's how it started.
If I may ask, you said the studies are not giving you a whole package. Can you be more specific? What you were missing in your study? What aspect?
We were a bit theoretically oriented during those studies, and we had really skilled teachers, interesting materials to study, but it was not from the practical perspective. I was missing the contact with the real world, with the real management, as I'm studying management. So that was the reason why I was looking for a way how to combine the theoretical background with the practical life.
I want to say that, of course, as Michal said, I wanted to do some mindful job. We are not saying that doing, working in some grocery store, etc., are not mindful jobs. But if you are like a daily student and you're really focusing on your studies, usually students search for, let's say, a job where you don't need to use your mind, just like quickly something where you can make money, right? So, but here I want to sort of switch the question to you guys. If you are a daily student, so you do have like lots of studies, and yet you take already a professional job and there are demands, how do you prioritize? What's your priority, school or the job? Because you also already have tons of requests from job. And here I will say that Matusz was actually a recruiter. So he had to do, screening, call the potential candidates, etc. So let's start with Matusz. Like, how did you prioritize? Is school priority number 1 or work? Where work also already giving you lots of demands?
I would start from the other perspective in this question. My studies were always the priority for my employer. So when we were distributing duties from the employer to me, we were always keeping in mind my schedule, my availability, So this way it was not so complicated to find time for all the tasks which I had to do. And the employer was making this much easier for me. And also if I could add, we were also, as you have said, Kati, I was working as a recruitment support, and we were also employing a lot of students. And this is also one of the things which we were telling to them, that they don't have to be worried about the job load or something when they have a lot of things to do at school, for example, writing their thesis or preparing for exam periods. It's still the priority for students.
Do you feel like working in recruitment actually gave you a better idea how you must be prepared for a new job?
It taught me a lot, for example, how to be prepared for the interview, how to write my CV, how to distinguish between what is important now and what is important maybe in 1 week and it's not so urgent. So this maybe time management and duties management was a really good skill which I developed.
Now we can switch to Michal. So how do you prioritize studies versus work?
Well, I want to mention that my case is quite the same as Matusz. My employer said as well, you should prioritize your studies and put work on the second place. However, I am a student of translation studies, so I have to prioritize in developing my language skills. So I try to prioritize my work because in my work, I often communicate with many people from many different countries, and I use many different languages. So I try to prioritize the job. But there were days where I had to do very much work for school. So I said to my employer, I said to my manager, listen up, I just need a few days off so I could get my school in check. And after that, I will return back, like in a week, let's say. And everyone was okay with that. So I tried to manage it as best as possible so I could have this school work life balance.
Mm. And when you said languages, what languages do you speak or you learn?
Well, as a student of translation studies, I study German in combination with Swedish, which is quite an exotic language, I'd say. But
Oh, wow.
yeah.
So that means you speak English, German, and Swedish, Slovak, and Czech.
Yeah. Yeah, let's...
And Czech. We also say Czech.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. I mean, you can't speak Slovak without saying, I do speak Czech as well.
Does your work provide you that you are capable to work where people speak German or Swedish, that you can be open and practice the languages?
Definitely, yes. I mean, I work from home office, so I won't have to visit the place in person, but speaking with the people and writing with the people via computer is providing me much experience. I must say that in some cases, even more than my school does.
Vivat to corporation. That's exactly how I'm learning my Korean, that I have actually regular classes with my Korean colleague on a weekly basis, so I can progress with my Korean.
So guys, next what I'm interested in is that I left school a long time ago. And I'd never been a student at the same time while working. So how does your, and it's a bit connected to the prioritization, how does your day or week looks like when it comes to this is my work, this is my school, this is my hobbies, this is whatever, how does that work for you? Maybe we can start with Matusz.
Thank you for the question. It was sometimes a bit complicated for me because all of the things I'm doing, I mean, studies, work, and as you have said, hobbies or free time activities, all of them are like between 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and there's no way to move them, maybe to do them a bit earlier or later. So sometimes I was struggling with managing all my tasks. But as I have said, as for my employer, the studies were the priority. I was still able to focus on my studies when it was necessary. the same way it was working at work. I was the owner of my time. I was calling to candidates, I was checking CVs, and I was scheduling those calls with those candidates. So when I was available, they had to be available, or there was no way to be in touch with them. So it was somehow working. Sometimes it was harder, sometimes it was easier. But at the end of the day, I was usually quite satisfied.
What about friends and family? Where have you put them?
That was one of those activities which was able to be moved to the evening. But as we were for the past 2 years, we were working from home. I was saving a lot of time, which I didn't have to be a bus or a train. So it was maybe 2.5 hours per day, which I have saved for other things like going out with friends, hanging out with my family or girlfriend.
Michał, what about you? How does your ideal day, or not ideal, how does your day or week looks like when it comes from morning till the evening?
Yeah, well, that is a tricky question. This depends from work week to work week, I'd say. Some weeks I feel dedicated to be a worker, to be at my job, to do it as much as I can. The other week, I simply have to focus on my school. There are also days where I have a whole day off, so I may be at work, and there are days where I'm packed with school from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. almost. So it really depends from week to week, from month to month.
I have a like numerous questions in my head, but I'll start with this one. What was your age? And okay, in Slovakia, officially we are allowed to work from the age of 16. But guys, what was your age when you started to work, like getting some work experience?
If I may begin, so it was when I was at the age of, a pause. I don't know, maybe 18 or 17, okay. I guess. Yeah, but that was just a job that lasted for 2 weeks, I guess. Not really long and not much of an experience, to be honest. But it was a job.
Was it more like during the holidays between schools?
Yeah, exactly. It was during those holidays.
And Matos, what about you?
My first work experience right after I turned 18 was a summer job at a well-known supermarket where 99% of time I was cutting and packing watermelons, which is still one of the coolest things I've ever been doing. But when we are talking about corporate experience, I started when I was, I think, 20 years old, in the third year of my studies.
Kolaj, how old were you when you started your first work experience?
Like any work experience?
Any?
12, 13?
Yeah, I think so too. I was like 13 or 14. And I still remember what it was. We went to the National Cyclist place here in Bratislava to put the grass in the middle of that field. It was only like for a couple days. Damn, that was hard work. And I can't remember whether I got any money out of it, but that was my first, like, say, work experience with a stranger, right? Baruch, how old were you?
I think I was around 15, and I wanted to buy a keyboard to my computer that I didn't buy. that was gifted to me, but I wanted a new keyboard that was like, I don't know, 300 Slovak crowns, and I didn't have money. Yeah. So this was a company where you put printed paper and make books out of them. So yeah, that was a manual job as well.
Hard labor.
Yes.
My very first job that why I went for a work experience was because I really, really wanted mountain bike. I was 16. So it was between my third and my fourth year of study of a vocational school. And so I went to work at jewelry shop for 1 month, and the whole salary I've made, which was 6,200 Slovak crowns, I bought a mountain bike. And my brother was never allowed to touch that bike. Even when I went to UK, I locked the bike and no one was allowed to use it. Oh my God, I still remember it.
This is a prequel to how I became financially independent, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. And you can listen our financial independence podcast on the link below that we are mentioning in this video as well. So I was officially 16 when I did that. So these two young gentlemen that are like generation behind us started when they were like 18, so a bit later.
But I still don't have my own bike, so
Yeah.
Oh, you should change the job then.
There were priorities, you know, back then. There weren't so many opportunities as you guys have today. So
Yeah, that's what I imagine. Like Matusz doesn't have a bike; he bought a car. You know, like there you go.
these guys don't even remember that we needed visa just to go to UK, for example, or you needed to show a passport when you went to Austria. These two
guys,
don't
I
even
don't even remember that. I don't even remember that. Okay, so you are hearing about like differences between us as regular employees versus you as a student. Do you feel any difference at work? Are you treated differently? What's your perspective on the difference between regular employee and you as a student, like not full-time employee yet?
Regarding my job position, I often have to talk to clients anyway, but I am treated a bit differently. Since I'm a student and just an intern, so to speak, as a student, I don't have as many responsibilities as a normal employee. And people look on me like, you do this and this and this, and you help me. I am a support for the regular employees. So I'm there to help them.
And do they treat you nice, or do you feel sort of like being the underdog?
Well,
Or kid.
luckily, I'm not being treated as a kid, neither as the underdog. I'm treated with respect. Yeah, it sounds a bit fancy, but it's like it sounds a bit fancy, but it's that. People tend to talk to me like I'm a normal adult person, which at the end of the day I am. I'm not working as an adult. I'm working as a student. That's the only difference.
Having such an experience, it also helps the brand of the company that you work with, right? Like, do you feel sort of proud for that company that you work at right now?
Well, I find it a bit strange, but yes, I work at a computer making company, and every time I see a computer, last week or 2 weeks ago, I was at my dentist and I saw a computer he had on the desk, and I knew exactly what model he had, and I was laughing in my brain. I didn't want to laugh when you're a dentist; it's dangerous. But I was simply laughing in my head, like, I know this computer, I know how much it costs, and I know how much he eventually paid for it. So I was like, yeah, I know this. And I'm everywhere I'm going, I'm always like looking for those computers. I'm like, I know this computer, and how old is this, and how much would it cost if we sold it to them? So to be honest, I am a bit proud, but I find it quite strange because I didn't expect it to come forward.
And Matusz?
I would like to add just one thing, that it happens quite often, especially to high school and university students, that when you are employed somewhere, you are, let's say, just a helping hand, supporting somebody else to achieve their goals. But what I really liked about my latest position is that I was able to set my own goals, to follow my own targets, which were of course part of the whole team's vision. But there was not only this, let's say, vertical cooperation, but also horizontal. We were quite equal, and this is what was such a huge driver for me to stay at this position and to work there, because I really didn't feel such a huge difference. Of course, there are some difference from the legal point of view, but as a person, as a team member, I felt to be quite equal to to other employers.
So guys, beside of working in a corporation, are there any other benefits that the corporate world brought to you? And maybe we can start with Matusz.
What I find as one of the biggest benefits is that it happened many times during those almost 3 years, which I have spent at this company, that I was allowed to participate on many other projects which were on top of the daily job. It was sometimes, let's say, a micro project management. We were organizing some events. We were participating and attending job fairs where we were attracting university students or like general people to work at our company. And this is something extra what you do not expect at the beginning when you are applying for a job and when you are reading the job description. But at the end, you have the opportunity to do many more things than what's written in the JD.
My job has actually many benefits. When I first started, I was like overwhelmed with information from many different areas. And as I proceed with my work life, I find out that work life isn't as easy as I thought it was, and isn't as hard as I thought it may be as well. I came in touch with many different people, and I had to learn how to communicate with them. And I had to learn how to communicate with clients, which was, I thought, before I had this job, that it will be quite easy. After I had started, it turned out that it looked very difficult. And now I'm like, yeah, I can do this. I have now real expectations of real work life. And this is, for me personally, the biggest benefit, that I stepped out from a bubble and experienced the real life.
If I could add something, Michal has mentioned that he was meeting a lot of people on a daily basis, let's say. And that's also one of the advantages which a corporate experience is giving to us. And that's the networking. I have met so many inspiring people, and many of them were not just colleagues, but also friends. And that's absolutely true that you never know whose phone number or email address you are going to need in the future. So if there is a chance, it's always important to meet as many people as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I will also step in here, especially if you work like in my field, which is talent development. And these two gentlemen were and are our interns. And me and my colleague, we were providing a workshop or sessions to universities. And that's when I found out actually that Michal is one of the students at the university. And so I really needed an honest feedback, as it was the very first time I did this session this year. And so I actually touched Michal before delivering this session. Like I asked him, like, what are the students? Who are they? What do they study? Just to get some sort of an aspect. And then when Michal was attending, we had afterwards a call, and I just asked Michal, so how was it? Can you give me feedback, etc.? And then he shared like really honest feedback with me, which was super helpful to me, because you can meet others, right? And they might say, oh, that was good, because they don't want to maybe harm you, etc. But if it's your colleague, he'll be honest because he has the same company culture as you, and he knows feedback is important. So he was really nicely honest with me and just gave me the feedback. So I really, really enjoyed it as well. So it's really not only that the students are getting something out of the corporation, but for us full-time employees, we get also lots of benefits of collaborating with students as well, because then we are able to grow and change as well.
One last closing question now that we touched the benefits as well. After your study ends and you have the opportunity to move from the student to full-time, full-fledged employee, and the corporation allows you that or asks you whether you want to continue, would you choose the blue pill?
Nice question, Morpheus. Yeah, well, if I may start, I am really considering it, because the job and the people and everything I found, the corporate culture in my company is like, wow. When I first came there, I was, wow, these people are so nice. This work is so great. I mean, I am being quite honest here. I am really considering to, well, begin my career, my professional life in the company I'm working at right now. So for me, definitely, yes, I would take this opportunity. If I had to, I would take this blue pill.
I have to partially agree with Michal because I'm also really satisfied with my job and people around me. But on the other hand, I have some other plans which are not compatible with my current job. So that's the reason why I have to quit now. But you never know what the future will bring to you. And I'm definitely open to continue in a corporate career in the future.
And I'm gonna take the word over here and just really say, also thanks to Michal and Matusz, you've heard that building the brand in the corporate, it's very important because this is how you are building your future pipelines. And if young people get the opportunities and you really treat them nice and with a care, those people will want to work for your company. So start working on your company culture, development, collaboration. It's very, very important. And with that, I'm gonna say 수고하셨습니다.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a nice day. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
Nice day.
This podcast represents our own opinions, experience, and our own ideas. We do not represent any official statement from our employers, and this is not their official channel representing the company.